Hey everyone, I'm Darin.rosellini and I'm here in the Pacific Northwest. I wanted to share my 22.5 best cut flowers that I love. Now, a little bit about me. Went to school for landscape architecture at University of Washington. I'm actually a realtor. So my business model for a flower farm is a little different than what other flower farmers or gardeners may do with their gardens. So um, I love just being part of the community and helping people out, making people smile, that kind of stuff. And I started to give my garden away. And I would look on Facebook, and if someone lost their animal or somebody's birthday, I might swing by and just give them this beautiful vase of flowers. Now maybe my version of beautiful might be different than yours, and I'll put some of mine up there so you can see them. But you know, people love them. It brings cheer to people's eyes, and I have some great conversations that I love doing. So I'm not selling my flowers at a flower market, and I'm not selling my flowers to a florist. But what I am doing is I'm using the vases to bring joy and build relationships. And I love that. It's just a fantastic way of doing business. So, and not really, yeah, it's fine. So I'm going to talk about my 22.5. It might be a little bit long of a video, but you might enjoy it and you may not. So, but if you do like it, don't forget to like and subscribe or follow or whatever platform you're seeing this on. I have them all, so who knows. The very first one I want to talk about is sunflowers. Sunflowers are, and my 22.5 are not in order. I love all my plants equally. But there are some that I do love more than others, but sunflowers are one of my favorites. And a couple little tips on sunflowers: I plant them close. I plant them in succession. I do 5 at a time of each kind. And then every week thereafter, every Friday, I'm putting in 5 of each kind, which is great because then that just continually fills my vases. I use the Pro Cut, so there's not a lot of pollen, so there's not pollen left over. And because a lot of people, when they get their vases, they don't want to have pollen all over their table. Now, some people don't care, but for those that do, I do it that way. And I really like the colors for Pro Cut. So I love Pro Cut White Knight, I love Pro Cut Plum, I had Teddy Bear, and Golden Honey. Those are kind of my favorite ones. I'll use other ones if someone send me seeds or something like that, like a friend just gave me a bunch of seeds. I'll use them. So that was my first one. Number 2 is zinnia. I love zinnia. Zinnia of any kind. Just absolutely think it's absolutely phenomenal. It just brings some major color to the vases. And they're just beautiful flowers. So I like Bennery's Giant for the Pacific Northwest, partly because we're still wet. I mean, right now we're dry, which is unusual, but typically we're rain until July 4th. So Bennery's Giant doesn't have a lot of that mildew that comes with other zinnias. And then I will plant my Queen Lime series in about June. When the stock is done, I'll chop down all my stock. We'll talk about that. That's one on the list. And I put the Queen Lime in those. So in that area. Number 3 is Bachelor's Button. I stick with just the blue. I like the blue. I love the blue. I know there's a lot of different other colors, but I've got all those other colors and everything else. Blue is hard to find, so it's kind of nice to get that pop of blue into the vases, and I think it comes across really well. Number 4 is amaranth. There are many different types of gorgeous amaranth, but I am really, really a fan of the red spike. The brown ones are really pretty, but I just don't have the space for that, so I just stick with just red spike. So I have to be very efficient. A little bit about my house is I'm in an urban area. Yes, I have a green belt right here and then a softball field on the other side, but I have just a small area, and so basically my driveway is my biggest part of the farm. Some neighbors like that, some don't. But it's just what I do. And so I stick to just one kind if I can. My 5th favorite is Lisianthus. Oh, I love Lisianthus. It could be referred to as a thornless rose. It looks a lot like a rose. Many people confuse it for roses, and I love any color. I don't care. I do have a purple apricot and a light pinkish white one, but that kind of goes with other colors and timings and stuff like that. Number 6, snapdragons. How fun are those? Now, if you buy snapdragons from Fred Meyer or Lowe's, you're probably going to get 6 to 10 inches. You're not going to get really vase-worthy stuff. But I go to Johnny's Seed, which is my preferred vendor. I will go wherever I need to go. All right, now that I dropped the phone, I use Johnny's Seed, but there are many other great vendors out there, and Lowe's is a great place for several things, but I like to keep it there. Now my papers are flying. Hold on. Okay, now we got everything under control until the next thing happens. Number 7 is yarrow. I love yarrow. Yarrow is a perennial, and it's just beautiful, and it gives these beautiful flat things that go very well in between the other plants. It's great. I recommend kind of like the pastel-y color yarrow. That's my favorite because it kind of blends with a lot of other things well. So it's perennial, so it keeps coming. It will grow substantially over time, so that's a great, and just keeps coming. Number 8 is stock. Stock has a beautiful smell to it. It is wonderful and I love it, but it's a one-time thing. So what I will do is I'll do my stock when it pops up and gives that beautiful scent, and I use apricot colors. I try to lot my fillers to be apricot because that's a great color to like blend in other colors well. That peach, because it's got all those different colors in it. And the stock, when you cut it, it's not going to come back. So that's when I plant, or right before I think I'm going to cut it, I'll start planting my zinnia seeds in that same spot for the Queen Lime series, because that's a great time to plant where it's not going to be as cool or anything like that. So that's great. My 9th one is Rudbeckia. Rudbeckia, I love both the perennial version and the annual version. The perennial version just comes back thicker and thicker every year. And it's fantastic. It is a little skinnier, but yet it produces a lot of, hundreds and hundreds of stocks. It's just great. And then I love the annuals because they're very vibrant and vivacious and just, they're just beautiful. And they bring that yellow tone. I think one of them's a red one and one's a brown one. So there's different types of Rudbeckia, and I love them all. You can't go wrong with any of them. The next one is larkspur, number 10. I love larkspur. It's a perennial. Once you get it going, every year after year, you'll get these tall spikes of these, purples and whites colors, and they're just long, and they just really are really nice flowers. Number 11, it's a bulb. It's a gladiola, and I love gladiolas. They bring so much to a vase. A lot of character, honestly, and it's just fun to work with, so I really like those. Number 12, astilbe or astable, depending on who you talk to. I hear both, and I don't know who's right, who's wrong. It doesn't really matter. They're beautiful flowers. That's all that matters. But they're a shade perennial, and I love having them because they really do bring it's a nice spike. It's not too big. They're reds, pinks, and whites usually, and it's a great way to fill part of your shade garden and still be able to plop it into your vases, because a lot of shade doesn't really produce a lot of flowers that you can use. Next one, number 13, allium or allium, or who knows how to pronounce that one either. I've heard them all. So it's a part of the onion family, so it has multiple pieces. Not only does it produce a beautiful flower, but it also kind of pushes a lot of takes some of the insect when the insects want to come and like attack your roses and stuff like that. Planting them near the roses is a great way to just kind of make certain things go into the green belt or someplace else. I don't know where they go, but not on my roses. Oh, and I forgot, roses are on my list too, but I forgot them, but that's okay. Yeah, 23.5. I'm sure we could get to 55.5 if we really wanted to. So Next one are lilies. I really love lilies, but not everybody does. Lilies can be very fragrant and have a lot of pollen. So I do cautiously reach out to people and say, hey, how do you like lilies? And they're like, oh, I love them. Or I hate them. Are you trying to kill me? So, all right, fair enough. I know to either leave them or give them to somebody else and bring you a different set later. And then at number 15, I'm losing track. I mean, it says right here 15, but marigolds. I love marigolds. They're beautiful. They're beautiful, bright yellow and oranges. A lot of people don't like the smell, but as long as you take all the leaves off, the great part is then that it just basically takes the scent out. So all this, the scent of the marigolds are in the leaves. So if you get rid of those, then you can't tell in a vase or flowers. It doesn't have that potent. But what I do love about marigolds, being right next to a green belt with a pond in it, mosquitoes. Mosquitoes hate marigolds. I don't like mosquitoes. So it's just a natural way to repel them from your yard. So that's awesome. And every year, as soon as the marigolds start popping up, mosquitoes, they just disappear, which is great. Because the first year, they were everywhere. Number 16 is Sweet William. Usually I plant that in the fall, and then it goes through the entire winter. It looks like it's like dying the whole winter, but yet it's still kind of doing its thing, popping back up. And in the spring, oh, they're just starting to pop up. They're just starting to get tall, and they're just, I mean, I thought they were gonna die for sure this last winter. Nope, they are happy and go lucky, and they loved it. And I'm gonna get vibrant colors from there, which is really cool. Number 17, Status. I love Status. It's a great dried flower if you dry flowers. I don't dry flowers because by the time I'm done with the season, I am done. I don't want to do any more. But if you love dried flowers, Status is great and keeps its color. But I love it as a filler. It really fills in the with color, and that's one of those that I choose apricot for, because it really helps blend in all the other vibrant colors that I like to put in my vases. I'm not really one for, pastel and all white vases and formal or anything like that. I'm, if I've got it and I can cut it, I'm gonna put it in there. I'm gonna try to figure out how to make it work, which can be good and it can be bad. But since I'm delivering the vases of flowers for my cost and my putting it into the thing, most people are just thrilled to death about it. I'm not doing farmers market, so that's different for me. Number 18, this is a very interesting one because I really hated them for years, and I don't know why. There was no logical reason for hating them, and I just didn't like their the way they grew. And I know maybe it was I grew them wrong or something, I'm not sure, but I started with them last year and they have become quickly my favorite flower ever, and that's dahlias. I love dahlias. Love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. I mean, the prolific amount of blooms, the beautiful flower, they're just amazing. So I really, really have changed my mind on dahlias. I'm glad I did. I've learned a couple things about them. One, you don't have to pull them out in the Pacific Northwest. You can actually cover them if they're in the ground. Cover them with a tarp, cover them with a crap ton of leaves and sticks and stuff so the tarp stay down. And they all are back this year. They are so happy. The ones I didn't cover, they're gone. That's fine. I have another like 25 on the way from Swan Island. So, there's that mosquito that I was talking about. Blah. Which that's one mosquito. I know I'm not from the I grew up in the Midwest. There's a lot of mosquitoes there. So dahlias are fantastic. I do pull them out of the raised beds because that just doesn't get, it doesn't stay warm enough for the ground to protect them. So that's pretty cool. Number 19, Bells of Ireland. I grew a couple last year. They look like green flowers, but they're not really green flowers. The white piece in the center is the flower piece, but the green and the way it goes into vases just really brings things together and just has a wonderful flow. And I love Bells of Ireland. They're great for that purpose. You don't want them to get too old because they get spiky, but yeah, they're fine. You can cut off the spikes. It's not that big a deal. I cut off the thorns for the roses, so what's the difference? But I like to get them when they're younger. Number 20, Cosmos. Oh, I love it because that Cosmos does an amazing job of bringing some whimsical and some bounce to the vases, and it just really does something really cool to it. My favorite are Rubenzia. I love that maroon color, and I love the foliage. Foliage, yeah. And then I also like Cupcake Blossoms. Those are really, really pretty. And then I also have an apricot version as well because I like my apricot because again, that helps really bring everything else together. Number 21, I love sedum. Sedum, I like Autumn Joy is my favorite. I have a lot of that all planted all over the yard. And I love it because it's a great flower to cut. You can trim it and make it so, you take some of it out, so it kind of thins it out. But it just really goes well. It's just like yarrow. Really fits in well, or like statice. So it's a great piece, or a great one to have, depending on what you want to that day to make that vase kind of go poof, And number 22 is Shasta Daisies. I love my Shasta Daisies. There's a word of warning though. Don't put them in a spot that can just take over. You want to kind of put them like next to a sidewalk and kind of enclose them so they can't get out, because they will take over larger spots if you let them. If there's an area where blackberries keep popping up, I'll put those over there because then they kind of push them out. I mean, I have to kill the blackberries because, well, we have blackberries here in Pacific Northwest, whether we like it or not. But I will do that, and it really does choke anything else out, and it's fantastic. Just constant flowers for a long period of time. And my point 5, it's not really a flower, it's eucalyptus. I love eucalyptus. I think that gray and a couple spikes, that gray coming up on the vase, really brings some of the vases together, and so it's fantastic. I recommend it and love it. So I know this is a long 22.5 or 23.5, whatever the number is at this point. I could get a 55.5 or probably 100.5 because I love all my flowers. Yay! But those were my favorite ones that I wanted to share with you. If you have any particular ones you like, go ahead and leave them down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Have a great one. Take care, and like and subscribe if you want to. All right, bye.